Alright everyone, welcome to the video. As you may have guessed, this video is going to be about installing an Incognito in an Atari 800. And this is the machine that we're going to use to demonstrate the installation. It's rather a nice, if slightly green looking, but nevertheless it's in rather nice condition. It did smell quite badly of oil or WD-40 or something previously, so I've had the case in the sink and everything, but I've put it back together so we can start right at the beginning. Interesting fact is this machine doesn't actually work, but for the purposes of the video the procedure is going to be exactly the same. Function doesn't really matter, although the very fact of installing Incognito may, if I'm lucky, result in it working, because of the various parts of the machine that are removed during the installation procedure. So with that in mind, we'll start to take it apart. Alright, so the first thing to do is to open the cartridge door, and you can see you've got these two little swivelly lugs at the back. I think there's a couple of different designs of that, but if you just open them up, you'll see the top of the lid pop up, and that just lifts off. Be very careful with this, by the way, because it does tend to shatter if you drop it. As you can see, the machine's fully populated with all the boards, so we're going to take them out before we do anything else, and put them to one side as well. You're not really going to need any of these when you've installed Incognito on the machine. So you can kind of see inside of one of these things before there's all the card slots in the board. Now to get the top of the machine off, you need to flip these two little lugs forward again, and then we can flip the machine over and start to take the screws out. You can see the machine's a little bit yellowed at the side. It really needs to be treated. This colour on the bottom here is closer to the true colour. But you're going to need a bit of space to work on this machine because it's so big and heavy. So get yourself a nice big table or a desk or a shelf, somewhere where you can put all the parts. And you might want to get a little bag, which what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all the screws and bits and pieces in the bag so that we don't lose them. So the first thing that's going to lift off is the bottom. There we are. Okay, so then that's the bottom of the machine, and the reason I've took the bottom off first is because there's usually in these holes, and they are at the back, there's some holes at the back as well. You've usually got some screws actually hold the motherboard cage onto the top half of the case. So we'll take those screws out, and all the screws are the same pretty much throughout the machine, so you don't have to worry about which screw goes where. We'll take the speaker out, put that in the bag. So now it should lift out, and then you have to release the keyboard. So if we upend it like this, you can see there's the keyboard connector on the motherboard, and we just need to release this by pulling it back, and that's the top of the machine completely off. And we can get rid of this now. Disconnect this four-way connector. This is actually for the console keys. You can see there's 4 wires, one for each key. There'll be 2 or 3 screws holding the power board onto the side here, so we need to take those out. They'll have little washers on them as well. So when we take these screws off, this side board can be lifted free and once again put to one side. So we just then got all the screws out and you just push it up with your thumb from underneath here, and that lifts completely free. We'll come back to this a bit later on, because to set up the ATR swap button, we need to do a little bit of rewiring here. Another thing I'll mention as well, which I almost forgot about before I put the lid to one side, don't lose this plastic insert here, because you need that later on. If you lose that, you've lost the light conductor for the power LEDs, and we will later on fashion this into a button which you'll use to swap disk images. So it'll poke out a little bit further there. It'll look very authentic, but you'll just be able to push it with your finger and swap disk images. So we'll take that out and we'll put that in the bag with the rest of the parts. Alright, so now that we're down to the Faraday cage, we can take the bottom off. So there's several layers to get into this, several layers to get through before we reach the heart of the matter. And these screws are identical to the ones that hold the power board onto the side of the cage, so we don't really need to worry about getting them mixed up. So this can now lift off. Right, so now we are down to... Oh, you son of a bitch. Right, so we're down to the motherboard now. This part's dying to come off. This is the next part we might as well take off, actually. This little plastic part. If you just pick that little lug back on both sides, that'll get the plastic part off. There you go, it's fell free. Put that to one side. Now we've got the CPU board, which has Antic and GTI in it. We can take that out, we just pull that out. Now we're just about there, just about down to the motherboard. 4 extra connectors we have to take off, or fasteners rather. They're these little fasteners, and I find the best way to get them out is to just push down on them. They're a little bit like the fasteners on an Intel CPU, but rather more primitive. Now that one's fallen out. There we go. So that's the board out. I'm just going to take them out and put them in the bag, so we don't lose them. There's another one that's fallen out there. Alright, so now we're down to the motherboard. There's a couple of little amendments we need to make. We need to add a jumper wire on the bottom of the board. There's a board here that's already got this wire on it, actually, which we can see here. There we go. Right, this is my board. It's got all sorts of things hanging off it because I've been trying to fit a VBXE onto this machine, but I'll use this as a reference anyway. It's we just have to add a jumper between a couple of pins on the bottom of the board here, just to provide a signal on the front slot, which is only on the only on this slot here. It doesn't extend to this one, and the Incognito needs it, so we're going to add a wire. There we go. Nice little wire there. So I've made my wire go in a different, it's taken a different route, but it does the same job. Okay, so the purpose of this jumper, I've just double checked actually, because I thought it would be worth mentioning. It actually connects the ref line from one of these memory card slots here, this one, to the personality board slot, which is the front slot, so that's what that one's for. Now we need a second jumper wire at the front here. Now this other jumper connects the RNMI signal with reset, as it is on the XL and XE machine. We're going from the right hand side of R184 to the right hand side of R1, what is it? 54. Right hand side of R184 to right hand side of R154. Okay, that looks okay. Right, so that's the 2 jumpers that we need to add to the board. Now we also need to replace these 2 resistors here. So I'll turn on the desoldering tool. Might as well use the proper tools. So I've got my reference board here, which is mine. The desoldering tool is gradually heating up. Now this step isn't absolutely essential, but it is recommended because these are the two pull-up resistors for RD4 and RD5. So it's worth doing this step of the installation. There we have our two 2.2k resistors. Right, so now we can go ahead and rig up these wires. The red wire is for the NMI signal, and that wire is going to go here to this via right here. That one where I'm pointing to with the screwdriver. And the white wire, which is the RNMI signal, is going to go to the via immediately behind it. So red wire, white wire. Right, so see if my little method here of heating up the via and pushing the wire through. There you are, that worked beautifully. And do the same with the red one. So I'm just heating up the via with the iron. I'll just move along so you can see what I'm doing, and then I'm just pushing the tinned end of the wire straight in, and it's very, very, very simple. And on the other side of the board you can see the two wires poking through here, so that's two of them on. Next we've got the blue and black wires, and they correspond to RD4 and RD5, so they're going to go at the front of these two resistors that we've just put on. Blue wire is going to go to the left resistor, and the black wire is going to go to the right hand resistor. And the next connections after this one go actually to the CPU board. So these are the last jumpers on the main board itself that we need to add. Right, so there's our black and blue wires on. The last two connections are for the ready and halt signals. Yellow being the halt signal for the CPU, now you're going to have to, these green and yellow wires are going to have to be significantly longer than the others because they have a greater distance to cover. They have to go right the way around to the CPU board here. That's why they're so much longer than the others. So we tin them. And as far as getting the thing working, we are very, very close to being done. Okay, so there are our connections to the CPU board. Now we are, believe it or not, actually just about ready for a test. After the event, we're going to have to go into the whole matter of routing these wires around the various brackets and things, so we'll get into that presently. But for now, we just want to power it up and see if it works. So we remove this chip here, which is a 74LS42, and in its place we put this connector here. You may actually have to remove the adjacent chip to get that to go in the slot, as I just did. And then this connector goes into here, and this connector goes in here with the green wire at the right hand side as you look at it from the front, and the Incognito pops into there like so. So although it looks a spidery mess at the moment, and we haven't tidied up all this cable run yet, because that's quite a job in itself actually routing these wires, that is basically the wiring. So to test it, we need to put our power board back on, which we can just do loosely like so. We don't even really need to connect up the console keys, we don't want to. Let's see if this machine boots up now. Now it boots up to a red screen, which is pretty much what it was doing before this machine. So that's kind of interesting. This board's still dead. Okay, I'm delighted to report that this methodology of mine of attempting to repair this Atari 800 by prepping it for Incognito appears to have paid off. This would not power on when I first turned it on, and it turned out it was a bad CPU anyway, so replacing the CPU has allowed it to power it up. Alright, so that's kind of spoiled the surprise, but nevertheless I'm going to show you. I've just swapped the CPU out, so turn it on. And we do indeed get a boot. There we go. So it does work. So it was probably a bad CPU all along, but I got into this typical nightmare of swapping bad CPUs with bad CPUs. I really need to sort through those chips anyway. But this is, I mean, what more could you ask for in terms of a happy ending? So yes, so it does work. Alright, so the next stage of the installation is to route all this cabling and basically put the machine back together and put our ATR swap button in the corner. And so we'll do that in the next video. So I hope this one has and is going to prove useful to you in some way when you come to install your Incognito on your 800. It didn't take a particularly long time to get the basics sorted out from scratch here, as you can see. We will return shortly to finish the job, but I'm just absolutely delighted that the machine does work. So we fixed an 800 and installed an Incognito all in the space of about an hour in real time. So yes, stay tuned for part 2, and we'll cover routing all the cabling around the plastic bits and doing the button and getting the thing put back together so you can enjoy it. So I'll see you then, and in the meantime, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.